Welcome to Logan Fields Podcast. Today I'm talking to Josh Halpern, CEO of Big Chicken, Chief Brand Officer.
Business Officer
of Craveworthy Brands. Dude, thanks for coming.
Dude, I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, we're going to have a good conversation. First, Anastasia has something special for us here.
Awesome.
Hello. Over here, I have a Blood Oath bourbon whiskey. And what's special about this one, it is a packed number 3. And it is comparable to a Pappy Von Winkle.
Yeah.
And I'm going to pour it neat for you guys.
Amazing.
Have you tried this one?
No.
This is my first time opening this bottle.
Wow. And I love Pappy, so that's pretty amazing.
All right, let's see how it compares, yeah?
Yeah.
Now, this is a small batch brand right here.
All right. And it's like we're making a blood oath, so that's sort of cool too.
Right?
All right. Cheers.
Here we go.
Can't reach.
Yeah.
Cheers. Oh, that's outstanding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's better than I thought.
Yeah.
That's even better than I thought.
When people make the comparison, you wonder, but I mean, that's good.
That bottle is for you, my friend.
Oh, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Dude, that's very fucking good. You usually do on the rocks.
I do.
Yeah.
No, like I'm one of the most predictable people you'll ever meet.
Mm-hmm.
So like everyone that works with me, they don't even ask me what I want to drink. It's just like Basil Hayden on the rocks, Basil Hayden on the rocks,
Yeah.
Basil Hayden on the rocks, which is great because I always just have a drink put in my hand.
I love that.
That's exactly what you want in this world, is someone to just put a drink in your hand and be right.
I love it, man. Yeah, this is great. Dude, I'm so excited to talk to you. You're doing really interesting things. Craveworthy started 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Y'all are at 400?
Yeah, about 400 million in total system revenue.
And no VC, no venture capital, no private equity.
We're trying because we could go that much faster. But yeah,
Yeah.
0 to 400 million in system revenue, not our revenue. Some of it's franchise revenue. But the restaurant industry is so fascinating, right? Because you have a lot of people that are trying to do really interesting things, and they end up in one of two situations. Either first, they get stuck, right? It's a guy that had an idea for a chain, got 5 units, and he's like, I'm not really a business grower. I have a chicken wing concept, or I have an Asian bowls concept.
Yeah.
And they need that growth accelerant, and they're willing to roll their business into us just, because they want to hit that next growth lane, and they like what we're doing. And then the other group of people are brands where the brand is badass, right? The intellectual property is great. The guest loves the brand, but the brand made like an oops along the way. They grew too fast, or they entered a second market and they didn't have supply chain right, or they got into a weird lawsuit. So they needed kind of help going and moving forward.
Mm-hmm.
And every deal we do is a little bigger, and that snowball just keeps getting bigger and bigger. And now we're starting to buy brands that like I adore before we have them, which is really, really great.
Yeah. Well, so here's what I think I'm not understanding right away is that sounds like private equity to me. In what way are you not private equity?
Because we don't have, I guess in a way we act almost like a private equity or like a venture capital fund.
Yeah.
But we're not PE backed. We're not VC backed.
Yeah.
And the big difference is we actually operate it ourselves. So we're not putting in an ops team.
Y'all are the operators.
The CEO of the company, Greg Majewski, was literally Jimmy John's right hand when they went from 18 units to 300 units.
Wow.
He's one of the best operators in the restaurant business.
Mm-hmm.
He hates sort of like the behind the curtain back office stuff. Meanwhile, I was running Shaquille O'Neal's business, Big Chicken. Mm-hmm. I'm good at that behind the curtain back office stuff.
Yeah.
And the next thing you know, we put Big Chicken onto the Craveworthy platform, and we're doing our thing.
So is Shaquille O'Neal in Craveworthy or just in Big?
He's
Chicken?
in both.
He's in both.
Yeah. So he made an investment in a Crave. Authentic Brands, his IP house also is partners with us. Shaquille, for him, Big Chicken was all about legacy. I've known him a long time. He wanted to build the chicken place from the ground up to pay honor to his mom because, really cool story. I mean, when he was a kid, they didn't have a lot of money, but his mom would always, fry up some chicken, put some sides on the table. So as he got famous and other chicken chains wanted him to endorse, it's like, I can't do it. Everything he's ever endorsed has an authentic story behind it.
I really love that.
And he's like, I can't do it. I'd be cheating on my mom. I want to do my own.
I love that.
And his agent owned a restaurant group in Vegas as sort of like his side, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I did a restaurant with his agent, Beer Park by Budweiser, when I was at Bud, and he used to joke, someday you're going to do a business with Shaq and I. And 2021, most guys' midlife crisis is a Ferrari or a mistress. Mine was Shaquille O'Neal and fried chicken sandwiches.
Shaq was your midlife crisis.
Shaq was my midlife crisis.
I love that. That's hilarious. Dude, the food looks great. Sorry, real quick. The clock. Take 5 minutes off. Yeah, and then go. Yeah, the food looks so good. It's really interesting because obviously chicken places are up and coming.
Yeah.
There's a lot of them. So the market's there, but also the competition is there too.
It is.
Right? And I can tell, I haven't tasted the food yet. We're going to taste it together later. I can tell from looking at it, you've made distinctions.
Yeah.
It's really interesting.
We had to. I mean, at the end of the day, there's a couple things going on here, and they're the things that keep me up at night. The first one is Shaq is the greatest trial mechanism on earth. The greatest trial mechanism.
What do you mean?
When we opened the Bridgewater, New Jersey location, the one that you got the food from today, we had 150 people online before we opened the door the first day.
Yeah, I believe that.
We have billions, no exaggeration. Like last year, it was 5-point-something billion media impressions tied to our PR. We have lines around every grand opening.
Wow.
Because people are like, man, Shaq's chicken joint is coming to town. I want to try big chicken.
And that's without UGC? Or with you?
Very little.
Wow.
I mean, there's UGC after the opening, but prior, nothing, right? Damn. So PR is one of our best kind of salient strengths. But the thing is, like, people come the first time for Shaq. Like, if the food sucks or the service is no good or the food's not interesting, people aren't going to be like, hey, I was treated like crap and the food's just mid, but I love Shaq so much I'll keep coming back.
They're not doing that, right?
So we really had to say, it's not good enough to just be okay. Yeah. We need to have the best food in a way that really surprises and delights people. Mm-hmm. And then you look at it, well, what's missing, right? Because Raising Cane's is really good and Chick-fil-A is really good and Popeyes is good. We said the one thing that's missing from all of this is big fun. And when we look at the sandwiches, there's combinations on these sandwiches that you've never seen before.
Yeah, right.
Know?
I saw that.
Yeah.
Oh, man, I love that. Now, what about also, I suppose, the hook can be Shaq, but also the downside is people are much more happy to critique you as well, right?
Oh, my God. Our reviews are literally like, yo, Shaq, I waited 12 minutes last night. And you're like, and the funny thing is, like, they're addressing it to him, like, directly. Like, he's the guy, behind the counter. But people love him. You never hear anyone say, hey, that's Shaquille O'Neal. He's a jerk.
Right.
Never, right? And as a result, we have a responsibility to protect him.
So protecting Big Chicken is the same thing as protecting his reputation.
He views them one and the same.
Yeah, I mean, that's a heavy burden.
His mama, Lucille, who I've gotten to be with many, many times now, she always gives me a hug whenever she sees me. She says, thank you for taking care of the family business. Like, that's the way they view this brand. For him, it's not an endorsement deal. It's legacy. And when you're playing with legacy, it has a different weight.
Yeah. No, when you're looking at, and by the way, Big Chicken is a franchise. How many corporate stores do you have?
We have like 4 corporate stores right now.
Yeah.
We have 50 total stores, give or take.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you plan to keep around those ratios?
Give or take. I mean, right now, most franchise systems, you'd want to be about 10% corporate, 90% franchises.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
It totally makes sense.
You need to have some corporate stores because otherwise you don't know what your franchisees are going through.
Oh, okay. That totally makes sense. It's interesting. So I'll talk to you from my perspective as an investor. I'm a dude who grew a software development company, and I have about 50 people on staff. I'm on year 12, and I've been pretty one-dimensional. So basically, for me, I have equity in a decent number of software companies, and like Vanguard, like just mutual fund. Like that's fucking it. The super risky and like S&P 500. I've looked at franchises and stuff like that. I've been split on it. maybe talk to me about like why would somebody once they have capital to deploy, at what point is it sensible for them to say, hey, a franchise, Big Chicken in particular, makes sense?
So you're an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
Franchising's not for you.
Okay,
right?
great.
There's entrepreneurship and then there's franpreneurship, if we're being honest. Right?
Okay.
Entrepreneurship is like, what's my next big idea? You would come into any franchise system and say, here's the 50 things I think we could be doing better.
Right.
Franpreneurs are people who are like, you know what? I have capital I want to deploy and I want to follow a system and I want to follow a checklist. And I want to know that if we just execute that system to perfection, this is what our unit level economics should roughly be. What always gets folks into trouble is the deviation from that system, right? Mm-hmm. So one of the things that we monitor is, for instance, theoretical food cost versus actual food cost, right? So theoretical food cost would be, hey, if you do 3 chicken tenders, 2 sauces, 4 napkins, 2 packets of ketchup, exactly 5 ounces of fry, this is your cost. This is what it should cost.
Right.
We have franchisees that are dead on the money to that number.
Yeah.
We have franchisees that are less, which means they're actually
more profitable.
They're more profitable, but they're giving less food to the guest.
So lower customer satisfaction.
Lower satisfaction.
Yeah.
But then we also have some franchisees that are way higher. And I mean way higher. And you're like, how are you making money? And they're like, well, we're not. This is across all of our brands.
Yeah.
And then you go and you look at their operation and it's, I know immediately, like there's one tell where you know if a restaurant is making money or not. And it's how many napkins or how many things of ketchup did they give you? Right?
So if they're really generous, they're not making money.
It's so crazy to think about.
If they give like the big stack of napkins.
Napkin is a penny. You're supposed to get like 3. If they give you like 30, that's 27 cents of profit out the till. If they have, you're supposed to get 3 ketchup packets or 2 ketchup packets. If I give you the big wad of ketchup, and we've all gotten that big wad of ketchup.
Taco Bell used to do that.
All the time.
They cleaned it up.
They had to.
But they used to like 2 handfuls, wham.
And people still bemoan the fact that they no longer do that. And you used to have the whole drawer in your fridge of like just nonsensical sauce.
Yeah.
But it's like, man, we're losing full points of our P&L by handing people sauce that they're not even going to eat.
They're not using.
And if you think about that for a minute, you just want to go walk into the ocean.
So what's your read on like Five Guys who famously give you an extra scoop of fries?
That's their spec.
Okay.
Right? So that's their spec. They have a container deliberately small, right, in order to make it feel
it's all
like
an illusion.
It's not an illusion. It's a brilliant heuristic.
Yeah,
I think I'm
really
getting more. And in the restaurant industry, heuristics are a really big deal because the way we hear things versus the way they are different. You go to Starbucks, it's not a medium coffee, right? It's a grande. Mm-hmm. Grande means large, right? If I called it a medium, it's not as exciting as a grande. If I called it 16 ounces, it's not as exciting as a medium. If I called it a pound of coffee, 16 ounces, right? You'd be like, man, screw that. I don't need to drink a pound of coffee. And then I drink like 3 of them a day. And I'm like, man, I'm a human cesspool. Yeah. But it's okay because they're 3 grandes, right? That's the restaurant industry.
Yeah.
Twin Peaks, which is like a Hooters type chain, they call their 2 sizes of beer girl size and man size. And who's going to look at that sort of Twin Peaks girl and be like, yeah, I'll have the girl size beer? Nobody.
Wow.
Just concentrate them.
Oh, wow. They shame them into the higher size. That's great. Now with you at like Big Chicken, these are big meals.
Yeah.
They're big, a bit more extravagant. I'm not eating them on a drive a lot. Some of this stuff anyway.
And not unless you want your car to be an interesting piece of artwork.
Right.
Yeah.
So I assume that was a conversation at some point. This is not driving food. This is, it's bigger, it's messier, it's more fun, which you said was one of the core values. How do you come to that decision? I mean, that must have been a discussion, right?
We have some food that you can drive with. Like you could drive with chicken fingers and fries and even our basic sandwich. What we found was, especially the first time people come to Big Chicken, they actually want to eat in the restaurant. They want to take their selfie with the Shaq jersey. They want to put their feet in Shaq's footprint at the coffee machine. They want to do these things. So it gave us a different permission than most other people have.
That's fun. Yeah.
Yeah, it's fun. With Shaquille, the first word you think of is big, right? So we needed to have big flavor, big food, big fun.
Yeah.
It didn't make sense. What we realized was missing was it was transactional. So now we're focused on big love because we want you to come in and feel like that Shaquille O'Neal sort of love around you and the way you're talked to and the way you're treated and the way the food is presented, all of it. And there's a lot coming down the pike that's going to do that.
How do you deal with training? Let me tell you people's experience right now in food, which I'm sure you're totally aware of. You go through a drive-through and they're basically like, "What do you want, bitch?" Right?
Dude, did you steal our script? No, not our script.
So how do you the work pool is a little more difficult right now, particularly for entry-level wage jobs. How do you attract the right people? How do you train them to not be what is right now industry standard? Yeah. It's horrible.
I mean, remember, nobody buys what you're selling. They buy why you're selling it.
Yeah.
Right. So for us, the notion of you get to come work with Shaquille O'Neal's business.
Yeah.
We've never had a people issue in terms of recruiting talent.
Very interesting. Wow.
Recruiting the right talent is a very different story, right? So we really need to find people that are extroverted, that are feelers, that are willing to ask questions to the guest. Hey, is this your first time here? Are you a spicy guy? Are you a sweeter guy? Do you want a bigger, messier sandwich? Do you want a cleaner sandwich? Asking those questions actually helps carry the day a lot because people want that connection. They want to feel empowered in their meal decision. They want to feel like they know a secret no one else knows. I love it when someone in the front is like, hey, I really like this sandwich, but I do it with this sauce instead of that sauce. And you see the guest's eyes go wide and be like, yeah, man, I want it that way, right?
Nice, yeah.
Because now it's like we have this shared experience that is an exclusive experience. On the training side, I looked at it early on and said, we're not going to be the group that it's like, here's your loose leaf binder, go figure it out. So we actually invested our time and effort into going to AI-based training tools that allow us to train every single day in TikTok-style format training. We use a company called Opus. They're based here in New York. They're phenomenal. I'm on Rachel Nemeth, the founder's advisory board. And what's really cool about them is they integrate their software into the guest feedback stuff. So when you put in your 5-star or 1-star review, she's able to look at all of that data. And if they start seeing the same sort of issues on the lower reviews, or even if it's a 5-star review and it's 5 stars, but they're able to pull all that and say, hey, there's an issue here. Sauce isn't getting in the bag, which is our number one complaint, right?
Okay.
Let's force out training as to how to make sure sauce is in the bag.
Yes.
And now you create that continuous cycle where guest feedback is now leading to things actually changing operationally through a training platform on your mobile phone.
Oh,
it's
wow.
pretty badass.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
It sounds so obvious too when you say it, but I love it.
I say at least 5 times a week the opening line from Narcos Mexico, right? Okay. Looking back on it, it's crazy no one had ever done this before, but no one had. And now there's 2 or 3 softwares that do it.
Yeah.
But that's the change, is how do you train the 22-year-old, not the way the 50-year-old CEO wants it to be, but the way the 22-year-old wants to be trained.
Damn. I fucking love that. That's really interesting. Now, is the rooftop bar in Vegas, is that part of Craveworthy?
It's not part of Craveworthy, but that's how I entered the whole thing. And it's one of the parent companies of Big Chicken. So Savor Hospitality, formerly known as JRS Hospitality, owns 3 restaurants at the Paris, 1 at Planet Hollywood, and 1 in the Link.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay. Did you live in Vegas or?
I feel like I do. I'm there like 40 nights a year, 50 nights a year, but
really?
I've never lived in Vegas.
You know, I've been to Vegas a few times. I've never gone to a show. I haven't gone to any really special restaurants, and I gambled there once. It was just like business stuff. What should I do in Vegas when I go back?
Go to Beer Park, man. So this restaurant, Beer Park, it's the one that I met Shaquille and his agent, Perry Rogers, through.
Cool.
It's at the Paris Hotel. It's outside. It's the number 2 grossing beer-led restaurant in America.
Cool.
Right? And you just sit out there and you feel like you're in somebody's backyard, but you're overlooking the Bellagio fountains.
That's awesome.
Beer's cold. The appies are good.
Yeah.
You'll like it.
All right. Yeah, I'll have to do that. That sounds fun. What are some other brands that are noteworthy in Crave?
So here in New York, New Jersey, Gregory's Coffee entered our portfolio a little bit ago. There's one in Summit, about 4 minutes from here.
Great.
But there's 30 or so in New York City. It's one of my, actually the coffee brand that I've been drinking in New York City since 2008. And, you know, my partner, Greg, he knew that. And he's like, hey, when we're about to meet Gregory, he says, man, you got to play it cool. Like, I know you're a fan, but you got to play it cool. We're trying to negotiate this deal. And he walks in and I go, man, I just want to tell you what a fanboy I am since 2008. This is the store I went to. And my partner's like, dude, what the hell? And I'm like, You know, but it actually made him really happy to know he was doing a business transaction with someone who cared about the brand and wasn't just a PE type guy.
That makes sense. Yeah.
We have John Taffer's business from Bar Rescue. I've known John for a really long time. We had dinner together in Orlando last Monday night. You know, he wants to be the reinventor of the tavern in America, and we're helping him do that.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. We have Ndamukong Suh's two businesses. Somehow Ndamukong Suh, the big defensive tackle, right?
Yeah.
Ended up with a cinnamon roll and a ramen business. So we have those in our portfolio now.
That's great. Yeah.
And Ndamukong's been with me a few times too. Fresh Brothers Pizza out in California, which is big in LA and sponsors the Dodgers and a couple other teams. Taim in New York City, which is like a Mediterranean bowls concept. Just a bunch of really cool IP. Some of which will get off the ground, some of which we won't, right?
Sure.
That's VC.
That's
VC
the way
mindset, right?
Yeah.
But
why are there no nationally known sushi places?
sushi is one of the hardest things to actually operationalize.
Yeah.
It's hard to get the supply chain right. And
Okay.
it's really funny. Like people look at my job and they're like, man, you work with Shaq. Your job must be big and sexy and you get to do all these big and sexy things. And I'm like,
numbers and logistics.
my job is literally like Excel spreadsheets and supply chain. Like I'm the guy that if I had an expansion NFL team would pick like the left tackle first, right? Like if you don't protect your supply chain, none of the rest of the stuff matters.
Yeah.
And sushi is a harder supply chain to get done.
Okay.
A couple of people have taken swings like Kura, which is a great brand, but they've kept it to a few major metros because it's just a harder thing to get done.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, it makes sense. What is, aside from sushi, is there a type of restaurant that you just wouldn't do?
I mean, I think the things that are a little too niche are hard, right?
Okay.
We own a couple dessert chains. Dessert chains are hard when they're by themselves because diet circles back, but also preferred dessert circles back.
Okay.
You go back 5-10 years ago, everyone wanted a cupcake, right?
Yeah. Oh,
now
that's true.
Now
I
everyone
forgot about that. Yeah.
And then everyone wanted the pay by the ounce frozen yogurt with the big toppings bars.
Yeah.
And then everybody wanted the big chocolate chip cookie.
Yeah.
Right? So, we own Dirty Dough, which is a 55-unit cookie company. We own Ndamukong Suh's cinnamon roll company.
Yeah.
And I probably won't build freestanding units like that. It's more how do I partner that brand with a couple other brands in sort of one box. Or if you're a franchisee, we really need to be careful to make sure we're picking the right real estate and those sorts of things. I would put a cookie or cinnamon roll place in a mall.
Yeah.
I would put it in an outlet center.
Sure.
But I would put it in Main Street, USA, but I wouldn't put it in the middle of a strip mall on like a major thoroughfare.
Well, okay. Well, so that's interesting because these crumbles and insomnias and stuff are popping up. So you don't think that's the wisest business decision?
I think they need to evolve a menu. So Dirty Dough right now, we migrated Dirty Dough from being 100% about cookies to now at Dirty Dough, you could get cinnamon rolls, you could get bites, you can get a few other non-cookie things to diversify that. Crumble has come under fire just because they open a lot of units, but they've closed some too, right? Insomnia has gotten really good at saying, if we can't be in that exact location, we're not going to open it, right?
Okay.
They're very much a college town and a Main Street USA sort of brand. You're not going to see them in like a random strip mall down a very congested corridor where no one's going to see it.
That does make sense. I've not gone there much for a while, but Subway, they now have like, I think Cinnabon, there's like 2 or 3 brands just meshed in there.
Yeah.
Like you can get this foot-long cookie.
They're all owned by the same company.
Do you think this is a good idea for them to do? You do?
I mean, at the end of the day, for the consumer, right? I want a sandwich, I want a dessert. Now I can get them under one roof. I don't need to travel. But
you can get thin and you can get fat.
Yeah,
there you go. Get your Subway sandwich and foot-long cookie.
I mean, you can get fat in both directions
Yeah,
there too.
sure,
if you want.
fair enough.
But the other thing is, remember, it's one set of labor and it's one lease.
Yeah.
So you're spreading out your costs dramatically against both of those things.
Yeah.
So it can make a lot of sense. We're really good friends with the guys that own Doghouse, which is like a big hot dog and sausage chain out in California. And they added like a ghost brand. It was a burrito brand called Badass Burritos into these Doghouse restaurants. And I mean, that doesn't have anything to do with hot dogs.
Isn't Doghouse Jake Paul?
He's an investor in it, yeah.
He is, yeah.
He is an investor in it, yeah. So
they took in the burrito brand's under Doghouse?
Yeah.
Oh,
so
very interesting.
It's a ghost brand, like a virtual brand in these restaurants.
Yeah.
Well, all of a sudden, Badass
Same kitchen.
Burritos ended up being like 40% of the sales of the restaurant.
Wow.
And it took their sales all the way up. So then it became, maybe we should put Badass Burritos on the menu in Doghouse. Maybe we should do standalone Badass Burritos, right?
Yeah.
If I view Craveworthy, I really view the whole restaurant industry. And I could say this because I didn't grow up in the restaurant industry. So I have a lot of ideas that are different. We're really IP houses first, right? Like I have 21 pieces of intellectual property today at my disposal that I can figure out what I want to do with them, right? If you view the box as, okay, that franchisee or us, if it's a corporate store, we're taking on a box.
Yeah.
And we need to make that box as profitable as possible in a way that guests love.
Yeah.
And you start with that. Then you say, well, what can I put in that box? Like even at Big Chicken, we are not a Nashville Hot sort of place because Shaquille is an accessibility guy and Nashville Hot is very hot for people. So it's not accessible.
Yeah.
But we're launching, as we speak, a virtual brand called Bays. That's Bays Nashville Hot in every Big Chicken. And it's 3 additional SKUs. And now I have a second brand in that box.
And those are being sold through delivery apps?
Through delivery apps and through website, yeah.
Let's talk about that. First of all, if you're allowed to say, or if you're willing to say, what % of business comes through delivery apps?
Right now, I mean, for us, it's a little lower just because, like I said, a lot of people still come in.
Right.
It's normally 15 to 20%. For the industry, it's normally 25 to 30.
And do you hold your margins in that scenario?
No.
You don't?
You don't. There's no restaurant chain that does. And that's one of the things that makes it tougher.
Yeah.
So, for a while, people were pricing up DoorDash, Uber Eats,
That's happened to me.
Yeah.
I remember one day looking down, seeing $60 on Taco Bell. I was like, what? How is this possible?
Yeah. The problem is the third-party apps got smart on that and said, well, if you do that, we're going to mess with you from like an SEO, SEM perspective because we're willing to let you take a little bit up. But I think their data shows that the guest is willing to pay 10% more. On average, you're getting charged 18 to 20% more because you're on the apps. I think the average restaurant at one point was saying like 25%. So they were actually trying to make it margin accretive. It's a tough environment and there's a lot of people looking to disrupt the model, but it's a hard model to disrupt.
Yeah. Well, I think, I assume that Wonder is one of them, right? Are you familiar with them?
Wonder started in my town, Westfield, New Jersey, right?
Okay.
What they're doing is unbelievable because they're effectively one large virtual kitchen.
Yeah.
But as people have said
and
to
they
me,
have their own app.
Yeah. But as people have said to me, can you explain it to me a little different? I'd say, well, imagine Cheesecake Factory with their 42-page menu.
Broken
and they
into
just said,
different
rather than
brands.
be Cheesecake Factory, we're just going to call it 18 different restaurants. That's Wonder, right?
Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah.
That makes sense. That's really funny. So what do you think, what level of penetration do you expect to be able to achieve with Big Chicken?
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, the goal is to get passionate multi-unit, multi-concept franchisees to take on territory and to build here domestically. Where it gets really interesting with Big Chicken is Shaq is just as big in China and the Philippines and Brazil and England as he is here. And now we're starting to grow internationally, right? So I'm not still going to be in this when we're at 2,000 units, right?
Sure.
But at the end of the day, could it get to 2,000 units worldwide? Yeah. Could Gregory's Coffee? Yeah. Fresh Brothers Pizza, yeah. Some of our IP, no, it's going to be more regional or more niche, and that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then we're looking at some of our IP. Like I would never do cinnamon roll in the U.S. because you have to be in a mall or an outlet, and Cinnabon really owns that.
Yeah.
But there are malls all over the world that are it's still like 1988 in parts of the world from
really?
mall culture, right?
Okay.
Well, there we can talk about Kinnaman cinnamon rolls or dirty dough cookies or some of these things. So we're really looking at the IP, saying how do we deploy it the right way? And with our cookie program, we can even look at like a food service program here in the U.S. where it's a reimagined sort of Otis Spunkmeyer type program where you could get a hot baked chocolate chip cookie.
Yeah.
But it's at some bagel shop or it's at some whatever. So we're really looking at how we can leverage our IP in every possible way.
What do you think? What's the main skill set that matters in your scenario? Is it logistics?
I think at the end of the day, you need to be good at human relationships and communication.
Love it.
Right?
Okay.
Second off, I think you have to understand the data. Too many people in the hospitality industry are feelers, and that's incredible because that's what makes the hospitality industry industry.
Sure.
But you need to be like a feeler that loves an Excel chart, right? Like you need to be able to look at the data and understand like where margins are bleeding out. We had a store in Big Chicken about a year and a half ago where the guy literally was like, my food cost is 10% higher than it should be, and I don't know what's happening. And we went and looked at the store, and the guy was dumping his oil every night, right? You're supposed to dump your oil like once a week, you know? So it's these operational decisions and really understanding those nuts and bolts matter. And then in the restaurant industry, like if you're an operator, it's presence. If you're not in your stores every day or at least, 4 or 5 days a week, you don't know what's happening in your store. And we can literally say with a very high R squared, the owner that's in his store or the GM that's in his store more does better than the one that isn't.
Yeah. Well, and this comes up on like Bar Rescue a lot, right?
All the time.
Yeah.
And it's one of the things that drives John crazy. It drives me crazy. John was my consultant when I ran every bar and restaurant in America at Anheuser-Busch, right?
Wow.
And what drove John crazy, and he was my consultant at the time, was most bar owners don't understand how to truly drive traffic at their bar, right? And they don't truly understand their clientele. It's like we would ask bar owners like, hey, why does someone come to Logan's bar? And he'd be like, well, I have $2 pint specials every day at happy hour. And we'd say, yeah, but Josh's bar is, across the street. They also have $2 pint specials. They just stare at you, right?
Yeah.
What drives people in? What gets them to spend more, right? Does your staff encourage that sort of trip and transaction where you're inclined to spend more? Because most people are inclined to spend more, not less.
Yeah.
If the experience is done the right way.
That makes sense. How do you talk to people when I'm looking at the landscape of restaurants, bars, food in America, stuff like Craveworthy is important. You're doing big, you're trying to do a lot of restaurants, but also it's really important that we have this backbone of just independent spots.
Yeah.
Which of course you interact with being on Bar Rescue. It's clearly something that matters to you. I struggle with thinking about this because on one hand, I think that it's important for community and culture for those to exist. Okay?
Yeah.
But on another hand, as a business dude, if somebody came to me and they were like, hey man, I'm going to start a pizza shop or a bar, I'd be like, don't fucking do it.
Yeah.
How do you reconcile that? And maybe you just totally disagree with part of what I've said, but how do you reconcile these thoughts?
There's nothing you said that's wrong.
Yeah.
And there's nothing that you've said that's right.
Okay.
At the end of the day, if you have great food and great service and you truly understand the drivers of your unit level economics,
yeah, I
like your probability. Is it 100% probability? No.
Yeah.
The truth of the matter is most people that enter at the independent level, I make a really, really good chicken sandwich. My friends tell me I should start a chicken.
Yeah.
And that's how restaurants get into trouble. But if okay, I think I'm going to do about X in sales and here's why, which means I could afford a lease that's about this much lease and I can afford this to be my food cost and this has to be my labor cost, and you really hold yourself to those things, you're okay. I think the thing that makes it hard is unless your restaurant truly, truly takes off. Like in franchising, there's a motto, If you own one, you bought yourself a job. If you own 10, you bought yourself an empire, right? And that independent bar and grill owner, even the ones that are doing well, they're getting by. Life is good, right?
Yeah.
But you got to be doing really, really good in order to have like that amazing, amazing life, right?
Right. And you're pretty busy, right?
You're very busy.
You lose some flexibility.
You're going to be in your restaurant 6 days a week to do it right.
Yeah.
You're not going to do vacations. You're not going to do nights and weekends, right?
It sounds rough.
It can be rough.
Yeah.
So it's not for everybody, right?
Yeah.
And for those that it's all about, you know? But you need to be like in anything in life. You have to go in eyes wide open. Otherwise you end up in a weird place.
Yeah. I like that a lot.
Yeah.
All right.
Wow. Look at that.
Here we have some of our favorites from Big Chicken to enjoy.
Awesome. Thank you so much. So we'll tell you what we want, and you can help us get it on our plates. Josh, you first.
All right. I'm a purist. I'll go for the original sandwich right there.
Awesome.
Nice.
I'll do the chicken there too. Perfect.
I'm going to take the Shaquito. Is that what that is?
It's
Yeah.
a good one, man.
Yeah. And the cheese curds.
You can never go wrong with the cheese curd.
Thank you. Look at this. This looks so good. Thank you so
Enjoy.
much. We're going to dig in just a second. Walk us through the menu real quick.
Yeah. So in front of you, right, you have El Shaquito, which is, I named the sandwich. Love the sandwich.
You named this one.
That's a Shaq snack. So it's a better value or lower opening price point. It's a chicken tender on a lobster roll bun, topped with Mexican street corn and a sauce, which is really, really nice.
Yeah, looks amazing.
And you've got some cheese curds there. Dude, you always got to go with the cheese curds, right?
So good.
On my plate, I have the original sandwich, which is pickles and some original sauce and some chicken bites here.
Yeah.
The rest of the sandwiches, we wanted to like have sandwiches that you've never seen before. So the sandwich closest to me, it's called the Ultimate. It was originally called the Charles Barkley of all things. Shaquille one day like was really pissed off at Chuck on the TNT set, comes off, calls chef, hey, I want to do a sandwich called the Charles Barkley. What do you want it to be? I don't know. I just want it big and sloppy like that mofo, right? So it's got mac and cheese and onion rings on the sandwich, right? It's the sloppiest, biggest sandwich you'll ever eat, just like Charles Barkley. And then we had to change the name when he did his deal with Subway. He forgot to disclose it, right? A couple other sandwiches there too that are just different chicken sandwiches. Our sides are on the top. We've got our fries. We've got onion rings. We've got a dirty fry. So we really want to have like big flavor, big fun, big food. But really we want to do things like name another chicken chain that has Mexican street corn on a chicken tender on a lobster roll bun.
Yeah, it's so distinctive and big. It looks good. It smells insanely good. And
it's
tell me
really
about
good.
The sauce looks awesome too.
Yeah, so the sauce is designed to be like a creamy barbecue sauce.
Yeah.
Right? Really flavorful, right? It's not meant to overpower, but it's meant to be distinctive. For us, the hero of Big Chicken is actually the breading itself, right? We think the spice profile in our breading is second to none, although the sauce accentuates it really nicely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here's what we're going to do. Let's try a bite together, and then I'll get into some questions. I'm going to try a cheese curd with some of this sauce.
I'm going to go chicken because that's sort of our name, you know?
I do love that sauce. That's great, man. It's really good. All right. I like that a lot. That's great. All right, you ready for me? So
I'm still chewing.
yeah. Hey, that's part of it, man. We're going for it. What's your go-to coffee junkie order to start the day?
To start the day,
Yeah.
black coffee.
Just black coffee.
Just black coffee. As the day goes on, cortado. I think cortado is like the best drink out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those are good. What is the one Big Chicken menu item every first timer has to try?
Okay, this is going to sound weird because we're chicken chain.
Yeah.
I would put our milkshake against anybody, and I mean anybody. It's almost like a frozen custard shake. I'm ashamed to admit how many days my lunch has been our peanut butter chip milkshake.
That sounds awesome, too.
Yeah. It doesn't travel, to 10 miles, 15 miles here.
Sure.
But on a day like today, maybe, right? But yeah, our milkshake is second to none. I'd put it against anyone's in the industry.
All right. We're going to have to try that out, too. What is the biggest lesson or one of the biggest that comes to mind 10 years in the beer business?
In the beer business, I think at the end of the day, in the beer business, there's two, right? The first is that your supply chain matters, your distributor matters, like everyone needs to win. But that the second one is like, this is what I brought into the restaurant industry. The consumer and the shopper are different, right? The consumer is who you are when the drink's in your hand. The shopper is who you were when you were across the street trying to buy a bottle of bourbon.
I love that.
And those are different, right?
Wow.
And if you don't understand both, you're going to miss.
Wow. That's a great distinction for any type of business.
Any business.
I've never heard that. I like that a lot. That's incredibly helpful. What's more intense, a boardroom meeting or a high-stakes archery competition? You're a pretty...
I'm not an archer. I'm just on the board. It's really weird.
Really?
Yeah, I was asked by... I was involved with the USOPC for a little bit, and they asked me if I'd ever want to volunteer for an NGB board. Archery right now is one of the fastest growing sports in America. And they asked someone that has sports marketing experience to come join the board. So for me, the boardroom's more stressful, but to some of my friends on the archery board, the archery is way more stressful because if they're off by that much, like that's like the difference between first place and like laughing stock, right? But no, not an archer, but I am on the board of USA Archery, and it's an incredible sport. To give it a quick plug, it's the only sport where you could be in a wheelchair and compete in the Olympics at a very high professional level. That's interesting. The cost to entry is not a lot. It's only a couple $100 to set up a range. So as a result, they're setting up ranges in like inner city Los Angeles right now to teach people how to shoot. So the fact that, and it's one of the fastest growing sports for younger girls. It's one of the fastest growing sports for people that are in wheelchairs or have physical handicaps. So I mean, it's really, really an incredible sport.
That's really interesting.
Yeah.
What was Bar Rescue like behind the scenes?
Yeah, so I've been on it twice. The season that just hit, I'm on it in a season in Nashville, Tennessee, just outside Nashville. But I was in it 9 years ago too. And I think one of the most fascinating things is like John Taffer on TV it's John Taffer. Don't get me wrong, but it's one iteration of John Taffer. John Taffer is one of the nicest human beings I've ever met. You know, he loves youth hockey. My son is a hockey goalie. He's always asking me about my son's hockey, right?
That's so nice.
He's always asking how he can help in the business. He's always asking how results went. He is a sweetheart, but it is funny because he's like, hey, I got to go melt down at this guy right now. And he's like laughing at you right before he does it. But he's amazing. And those meltdowns are just because he cares that much about the bar owners that he's helping. And he wants to see them be successful.
Useful tactic. Right?
I mean, John would tell you that his key to business is reaction management. I agree with him. We just lead from a different reaction.
Yeah.
But reaction management is critical.
Right. Oh, yeah. That's really interesting. And it's interesting to hear how intentional he is about those explosions.
I mean, at the end of the day, what that explosion does, you have people that have run their business the same way every day for years. And now they're in this...
It's a pattern disrupt.
And now they're in this sort of like rut. So if he just came in there and was like, hey guys, like maybe you should try it a different way. Like people would be like,
Right.
So he needs to break through and get them to realize like, you keep going the same way, you're going to have same result. You're out of business, right?
That makes sense.
Yeah. So he's got to shake them. He's got to get that reaction. He doesn't do it to me. Right.
Of course.
But he could call me and we could have a normal conversation and talk it out.
Right. All right. Just a couple more questions for you.
Yeah.
You've met 3 U.S. presidents.
Yeah.
Tell me one of the most memorable moments you've had with a president.
So I've gotten to meet George W. Bush, Joe Biden, and Bill Clinton. And it's funny because politically I'm probably the least aligned with the one that I actually loved the most, which was George W. Bush.
Okay.
And what I liked about him was I got to meet him, and I ran U.S. restaurants, bars, nightclubs, and military bases for AB, stadiums, all the on-premise.
Oh,
and I was allowed to give him, we had like a Budweiser military coin, and I was allowed by the Secret Service to give him this coin.
That's cool.
And he looks at the coin, and he looks at me, and out of nowhere, he goes, "You run the military for Anheuser-Busch, son?" And I said, "Yeah." He goes, "Laura and I love what you're doing with Folds of Honor. We've gotten to know Major Dan. It's one of our favorite charities. Do you know Major Dan well?" I told him a story about Major Dan.
You know Major Dan?
The whole line behind us is like, what the hell is taking so long?
Oh, yeah.
And he didn't care, right? Like in his view, he had this moment of connectivity, and it probably lasted 2 or 3 minutes. It wasn't forever. But those 2 or 3 minutes mattered to me because he made sure I knew they mattered to him. And I think that at the end of the day is true leadership. It was pretty badass.
That's awesome. That's really cool. All right, last question for you. Who do you know that should be a guest on this podcast?
There's so many different ways I can answer that question. Who do you want to meet?
I want to meet them all, man. I just like interesting conversations with cool people.
Yeah, I think John Taffer would be fascinating for you.
He would be a great conversation, man.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
And, I think there's people in the restaurant tech industry doing some really, really badass things too. I know you're a tech guy at heart. There are folks that are looking right now, like, how do we truly create an AI experience that makes sense?
Yes.
Because real fast, it's fascinating. Like, I love the human side of hospitality. And one day, out of nowhere, I could get into the 20-minute story, but won't. But this weird interaction resulted in me putting in a chat GPT. If the restaurant industry had a Myers-Briggs profile, what would it be?
Okay.
And it was ENFP. Extroverted, nurturing, feeling and perceiving.
Okay.
Right? Which makes sense, right? You want social people that are going to sort of take care of you and they're going to, make you feel like a human reaction in your heart and they're going to perceive what you need, right? Then I put in, what is the hardest Myers-Briggs profile for AI to emulate? ENFP.
Yeah. Right.
So there's some folks I know that they're trying to tackle this. A guy named Michael Beck comes to mind. A couple other folks come to mind. They'd be interesting for you to know too.
See, now we need another hour-long conversation because I have immediate thoughts.
Yeah.
Dude, Josh Halpern, thanks so much for being on the podcast. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
This has been the Logan Fields Podcast. I'll see y'all next time.